MAGA and the far right alike have lost the culture war, or I should say they are losing the culture war. And I know this is a bit unfair to Bad Bunny, who put out a very impressive performance and also tried his best to make a performance that was more about spreading love and representing his culture. But after seeing the deranged president of the United States typing up all of this in response to his Super Bowl halftime performance, it gave me insight into what's going on. Now, shout out to Impact. I'm going to use a lot of their graphics, courtesy of the Super Bowl and NBC Peacock, to get my points across. But consider this. Let's get this story started. In a sport in which it's supposed to be looked at as the ultimate conservative stronghold, men hitting each other, right? Even though I would argue their owners move like socialists. But that's not the point. That's not the point. A lot of right-wing MAGA folks took the NFL as one of their strongholds in which they wanted to push back. When you see Kaepernick kneeling, the end racism stuff, they pushed back, and in ways, the NFL did cave in, right? But this is a perfect example of people going past the point of victory, not knowing when to stop. But what the NFL did do, after stopping all this woke stuff, was saying, hey, in a halftime show, bread and circus, we can do a little give and take in which people from minority groups can be represented. In fact, a lot of the people we're going to be putting out here, we're not just going to be D&I for the hell of it. These are extremely popular performers. So here we have Bad Bunny. Now, normally, people on the far right, MAGA themselves, as you've seen Trump in the NFL, he's been at Super Bowls, he's been wherever, could just say, hey, at least we got our game back. Toughen it up. Get rid of end racism. Get rid of hands. Get rid of kneeling. They could have the halftime show. But alas, they still want this too. And what happens is when you watch this halftime show, in contrast to theirs, I'm not going to talk about the Turner Point USA stuff, which I peeped for 2 seconds. And it was some European taking elements of hip hop to mix into his little country jingle. That was weird. When you look at this halftime show from Bad Bunny, it really starts off as things that you could look at as just an ode to his culture. Now, granted, I'm not a Spanish speaker, so he might have been saying stuff that should have warranted this triggering. But let's be honest, most of MAGA, most of the far right of America were keen on not watching. And if they did watch, they wouldn't care enough to look up the lyrics. So you get this. We start off with Bad Bunny paying homage to his island. He's from Puerto Rico. Nodding to the historic sugar and fruit farmers in Puerto Rico and the legacy of agricultural workers. Does that not speak to some of what the right is supposed to be for? Don't y'all own the farms? Don't y'all scream for hard workers? Anyway, let's keep going. Now, here's where things get shaky, because who knows what Bad Bunny's intentions are. But you see, as he gets to a point where he's going to go ahead and hand a Grammy to a young kid. But guess what? It's not being only interpreted as a younger generation. It's being interpreted as a representation of Liam Ramos. Remember the child that was abducted by ICE? Now, for context, this is not Liam Ramos. This is Lincoln Fox, a child actor, supposedly. But guess what? Even in a case where Bad Bunny isn't trying, your transgressions still get pointed out. I mean, there was this cool moment in the inclusion of a wedding between a man and a woman, right? Celebration of love. And I know there's a little story behind this because it goes to a couple that wanted Bad Bunny at their wedding. He invited them to this. But even then, imagine how you look in a performance where this is being celebrated, where you screamed up and down, marriage between a man and a woman, the family. Bad Bunny has that. And you still have your president deranged, being angry online. And oh, by the way, the theme is, the only thing stronger than hate is love. And shout out to the Latino celebrities that popped up for Bad Bunny on this, right? So now you got our little fan base paying attention. And here's the thing. I'm an English speaker. So my angle at this was, hey, just make me move my hips. I don't know what you're saying. And that he did. But they brought a European to make y'all happy. Hello, Lady Gaga. Lady Gaga doing her own rendition of Die With a Smile. You're still angry. An appearance by Ricky Martin. All right, a legend. But here is your big loss, right? Because Bad Bunny didn't fight the phrase "God bless America." Bad Bunny didn't explicitly, at least in English, right? Again, for my Spanish speakers, I appreciate the insight that you and Bad Bunny super mega fans. I appreciate the insight that you're gonna bring in these comment sections. Comment section. I'm so intrigued by what y'all are gonna say. But in this moment here, in the background, the only thing powerful than hate is love. With a multitude of flags, with the taking of the phrase "God bless America" and strategically flipping it to include all of the people that make America great, to include the continent, North America, South America, Central America, to include even the Afro-Latinos, Jamaica, Haiti, Guyana, right? To be so genius to spread a message of unity and community. Because the reality is, that is part of what makes America great. You look more deranged screaming and hating on this, right? And even the funniest thing is a lot of people that come to this country, and this is probably the defining moment, that come to this country aren't coming in to be raging radical leftists. Most people come in here, especially, and they have pretty conservative views. But in this moment, you let Bad Bunny one up you by being entertaining, by representing the culture, by throwing in little subtle things that maybe only his people would get, by being as inclusive as possible, right? Meanwhile, this is your response to it. You lost the culture war. And even with a Bad Bunny not doing the most radical thing on the planet, even that is triggering you. That lets me know the dam is breaking.